Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Criminal Minds Evolution Season 1, Episode 7. Penelope Garcia, we need to have a talk. What are you doing? Like, really, what are you doing?
Yeah, she's taking some chances here that she should not be doing. She's going to give Prentice a further migraine. You know what else is giving me a migraine? That the jet is already grounded. We had wheels up last week. This week, nah, no more jet. Come on.
Wheels down. Like, this is the
Oh.
point. No, but okay, there's a good bit to get into here. It's clear the BAU is slowly closing in on Elias Voit. There's a beef that I have that we'll get into throughout all of this. But of course, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. We don't want you guys to miss anything we've got coming up here through the
Mhm.
rest of season 1. And of course, season 2, which has already been officially renewed now.
So excited that this has been renewed for a second season. This has been a really good first season of Evolution. So it coming back for a second season is awesome. Also, follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about this kiss that's now turned into an overnighter.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating. It's always nice to have romance and
Yeah.
whatever, and there's chemistry here with these two. I'm not going to pretend like there isn't, but if you guys have been watching us for this season, also the end of like last
Yeah.
season, season 15, you know that we are both really into Garcia and Luke, and
Yeah.
sort of, they set it up at the end of season 15, the series finale, that they were going to be going out. And then they came back with this evolution, which some people are calling season 16 as well. It's fine. Where it's kind of like, oh, it just didn't work out. And it's like, okay, well, why didn't it work out? We don't know. Now they've brought in Tyler. And it's like, okay, we had this kiss last week where it was like, they were going to have this really intense kiss, and then she cut it off, and then she
Yeah.
kissed him on the street. Okay. So now she's gone to tell Prentice about it. And Prentice's first reaction is, well, when two agents are dating, they got to fill out all these forms, and sometimes people get transferred. I'm like, why are you saying this? These are not two agents. I
Yeah.
know what you're doing. You're trying to give the audience an explanation of why this isn't Luke, but it's been a few years since everyone got back together. They could have been dating, and when they brought her back in, they would have just known that they've been dating all this time.
Yeah, and this all of this just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that Princess sort of leads in with that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me anyway that Garcia would take this big of a risk because this was like, there's like level 1 migraine and then there's like level 2 migraine for Princess. This is like a level 2 because it is a material witness. And I feel like if knowing Garcia, she's pretty careful. I know she's trying to be more, freewheeling and all this in her new era. Congrats to her and all that. But like, yet ultimately, Luke is somebody she knows. Like, she and Luke have a history, and I think if she and Luke decided to date, like that's a believable enough sort of jump forward that it's kind of, dancing around the rules a little bit without going so crazy. But her going potentially in with a material witness, it just feels like too far of a reach for this character because this is something that could like jeopardize an entire case. It's like, dating Luke is an HR problem potentially, but it's not on the same level as this.
No, Garcia knows what's at stake here
Yeah.
for spending the night with Tyler, kissing him, or not ending things. Like, her being with him could potentially have Elias be freed. He's a material witness. He is their only material witness. And if she continues doing this, she could allow this killer to continue to go on and kill people. And it just doesn't make sense for this character. Now, listen, I know that feelings get involved, and when you're attracted to somebody, it's very hard to like pull on the brakes on that. But Garcia has very often been the bigger picture type person. She knows
Yeah.
that people are getting killed, including Tyler's sister. And I expected her to kind of be, when he gave that very heartfelt speech, like, listen, I was in this really dark place and I didn't know I was going to make it through. And then I met you. And now everything is different. That she could be like, put a pin on it till the end of the season when we wrap this up, and then let's go kind of thing. I don't believe that she would have put anyone else's lives in jeopardy with how much she cares about Tyler and him losing his sister to this person, that she'd be like, we need to get this guy first. That's what I think she would have said.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing here. It's like Apprentice isn't even like, wagging her finger at Garcia and being like, you can never do this. It's just like, okay, right now, just take a back seat. The sooner that Sicarius and all this can be solved, the sooner you could potentially get into a fine, healthy, non-work jeopardizing relationship with him. Is this the forbidden fruit? Is it, the heart wants what the heart wants, but it shouldn't want this right now?
Or are they setting up that Elias will be coming back in season 2 and that he will end up kind of getting away with murder sort of thing? I mean, they've set him up so beautifully this season. He is such a good unsub. We've really gotten to get to know him. We've seen sort of his background, where he is now. He's unraveling with his family. He's had to leave them. He's pulled out a new kill kit. Like, he's really unraveling. And even as Rossi's starting to circle him, if they don't have Tyler, like, they need to have something else in place.
Yeah.
And if they don't, and the BAU takes a loss, which is okay. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I would not mind if he came back again for round 2 next season, now that we have another one, especially if they end up, and there's no confirmation of this, but bringing back Matthew Gray Gubler. I mean, there was another mention of him in this episode too, where they were like, hey, do you think we should call up Spencer? Yes, we should call him.
Everyone, please. No, I think there's at least a good chance we might see Reed next season, and I think they continue to mention him. There's reasons for optimism. Yeah, I would be okay with Elias sticking around if they do come up with some really, compelling stuff, some ways to make this interesting. I mean, his sort of visions of what he could do to his family and that was one of the more messed up things I think I've seen Criminal Minds do, and we've seen a lot of messed up things on this show.
Yeah, they've really done a good job diving into sort of his difficulty with the balance of, not actually killing the people he wants to, but finding surrogates to do the same thing, like we saw with his neighbor and stuff like that. Him actually having to leave his family, where he's like, okay, I'm just getting too close to the edge here. I gotta go take care of this business, maybe kill somebody else, and then come back, and then I'll be able to sort of just get things a little more settled. But I think him killing his uncle and all of that has just pulled apart everything that he had. I think that was his biggest mistake so far.
Yeah, he is unraveling, and I think the faster he unravels, the closer and closer we're going to see Rossi get to him. Like, Rossi is already, piecing things together, because Rossi is just super, super smart. But this is also where, my biggest beef comes in right now with this season, is just that we've got a great storyline for Tara. Obviously, Garcia's got some really, really good stuff. Rossi is basically, his role is just sit down and find stuff. Like, that's really all he's had since, he was, really grumpy and yelling at people in the first couple of episodes.
Yeah, but I mean, he did have some stuff going on in the first couple episodes because he lost his wife and he was really dealing with that. Luke is the person that has, legit nothing going on. Like, it's really weird.
Yeah.
But the stuff with Tara is frustrating me a little bit. I'm hoping she's going to kind of come around. I mean, she was talking to Garcia a little bit about this, where she was like, oh, I'm going to give Rebecca this space and she can come back if she wants. It's just like, even Garcia was kind of like, don't you think you should call her? Because I mean, Tara knows she stepped in it.
Yeah.
And she even kind of said she knows she made that mistake. So I'm going to give her space. No, if you stepped in it, you need to step out of it. You need to step up and go to Rebecca and say, I made a mistake. I really screwed up. I'm going to work to make it better if you give me a chance to show you that I can do that. So you can just get these two back together. There's a really nice chemistry with them. I liked this relationship.
Yeah, I do too. And I have hope that it's going to work out by the end of the season. But I think what we're getting right now is another reminder that even if you're a really smart person, that doesn't mean you have all the answers. That doesn't mean you know what to do. in a lot of these social situations. And, Tara is a social enough person that I think if she was giving advice to somebody else, like if this was Prentice or, Garcia or whoever, I think she would tell them to call them. It's just, I think she's so close to it, she's just not seeing the forest through the trees.
Yeah, I actually wonder if Tara's having some fear with this, that it's like, well, if I don't call her, there's a chance she can call me and be like, okay, let's talk about it or work it out. But if she calls her, there's more likely a chance that, or in her mind, that fear of like, well, if I call her and she just says no, then it's over. And there is no chance that she's going to call me. It's sort of like you've got the hope in the what if versus I'm going to call her and I'm going to get a definite answer.
What I did really like in this episode was just I didn't expect to, but sort of the procedural part of all of this where we had, Prentice off taking care of this other case with, the man whose name I can never remember, so I just call him Boss Man in my head, who's just, Boss Man was just kind of like meek and unimpressive for a lot of the show, but Boss Man stepped up a little bit in this case.
Listen, this case of the week or
Yeah.
whatever was excellent. It was a 10 out of 10. It gave me all my claustrophobia fears. It was so well done that I was so into it. And the other thing that they did such a good job with it is that they didn't just give us only the case of the week. They
Yeah.
also continued to give us movement on the actual case that we're all following right now. It was a beautiful balance.
Yeah.
Overall, besides some of the Garcia choices that I just don't believe she would make, this was a really good episode.
Yeah, I think it did everything that we would have wanted it to do
Yeah.
in this new era of Criminal Minds. So hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any other reviews we have coming. We also have, The Last of Us.
Yep.
So much good stuff coming over the next several months. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you here next time.